Perfect. I've got the green light. I can get started. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I know it's after lunch. It's very hot outside, so hopefully this is a nice place to get a little bit of respite and also enjoy the story I'm going to tell you. This, I know, is meant to be the demo stage, but actually today what I'm going to talk about is, you can see it maybe as a demo, and you'll understand why at the end. But before I kick off everything that we're going to talk about, the first question is, how many of you are familiar with Sygnum? Have you heard of Sygnum? Just a show of hands. Wow, almost no one. Love it. Okay, perfect. This is, it's not so often that that happens anymore, so I'm very happy to tell you, just the elevator pitch at least. Sygnum is the world's first digital asset bank. We've been around since 2017 when we were conceived, and 2019 when we got our banking license. So we have the same banking license as, HSBC or UBS in Switzerland. We work with primarily crypto companies. In fact, we don't have a single client that doesn't have something to do with crypto. And so it's perhaps becoming more common now for banks to be a part of the space, but certainly in 2019, this was not, there weren't many players doing what we do. And in terms of our offering, it's kind of classic banking services, IBAN, SWIFT, SEPA payments. And if you look on CoinGecko at the top 100 listed projects, about 70% of those actually use Sygnum for things as simple as, paying their rent, paying salaries, everything that everyone needs access to traditional infrastructure for, and Sygnum is able to support that. Of course, we're also a crypto custodian and a broker enabling on and off ramps, but that's what we call our value-added service that we add in addition to all the other things that we do. We have today over 5 billion in assets in custody and more than 2,000 clients around the world. These are all institutions and ultra-high net worth individuals, not retail. And we work with over 20 banks, providing them the back-end infrastructure to have access to crypto. So some of the ones are labeled here. For example, PostFinance, which is one of the biggest banks in Switzerland, now offers their 3 million clients access to crypto directly from their application, and it's simply a white label of the Sygnum tech stack. So yeah, we do this for more than 20 banks. We are located across the world now in many places. Switzerland is where we have our kind of headquarters with more than 200 employees. But we also have presence in Singapore, the UAE, and in the EU now as well, in preparation for MiCA. In addition to the features I talked about before, there's also tokenization, which I'll talk about, and RegTech, where we also offer crypto compliance as a service to other players in the industry. Now, why is a bank a different or an important thing to have in the ecosystem? Everybody at the back, come in front. There's plenty of space here. Everyone knows the tragic story of 2022 when we saw multiple players actually crashing in the industry. People who were exposed ended up losing a lot of their money. Some of them hopefully have regained their funds now. But the benefit of a bank is that even when times are stormy, it's all of your assets are always held off balance sheet. And that means that if you ever run into issues, or if we run into issues, rather, you are simply returned the private keys to your accounts. Your crypto assets are never part of any bankruptcy proceedings. And that's what makes us really special, because with any place where you're holding your crypto assets, they often say, right, not your keys, not your crypto. But at Sygnum, actually, your crypto is always your crypto because it can't be part of any bankruptcy or story like that. So we're clearly in the era of institutional influx. Everyone's finally here. We've been here since 2019, and so we've learned some things along the way. And the question is, what really happens when institutions enter? And to this effect, I have set up what I call the institutional playbook. And you see how institutions grow as they engage with the space. So step one, let's use the technology. We don't believe in the asset class, but the technology can do something. And so the earliest headlines that we saw around this was a first public bond, first digital green bond on a public chain, or UBS issues tokenized USD money market fund, and so on. This was the first kind of era of people experimenting a little bit with the tech stack because they believe in the technology and not the asset. This was also a little bit where Sygnum came at the market. Back in 2019, when we got our license, one of the first things we started working on as well was setting up a tokenization unit within the bank, which had both the issuance platform as well as the secondaries market. And so over the years, we've started with art and collectibles, with wine and a Picasso painting. We did a tokenization of Matter Labs, ZK Sync, with money market fund at Fidelity International. And today we offer a lot of different types of assets that typically you would never have access to. So access to a money market fund like Hamilton Lane, you can do through the Sygnum account, which is typically you would be able to enter at, let's say, 125K, and today you can buy in for 5,000 francs. And that is really one of those stories of how you democratize access to more complex financial instruments through the operational efficiency of being on chain. And so what's the thesis? What's the learning? Clearly, we're going to see a lot more assets on chain. We're watching that happen in real time. The operational efficiency enables accessibility of more complex assets to wider audiences. And if you think about what the stablecoin did for more far-flung markets, what we see in Argentina or Uruguay or places where the financial system is less developed, tokenization is going to actually bring all of that flexibility to those markets as well. And it has already brought it. It is bringing it in real time. As I think regulation becomes more mature, we'll see the growth of this go further as well. So step 2 of the institutional playbook is let's provide them access to this new exciting asset class. So, you saw the Bitcoin ETF launch, and it's amazing. It's unbelievable. I think everybody was surprised at how rich the uptake for these asset classes were. And of course, when Sygnum was launched, that was our first pitch as well. We wanted to have this integrated offering between fiat and crypto. And so similar how Sygnum also came at the same problem, but with our banking license, we were very clear that we wanted to provide access to the underlying. We didn't want to have all these layers of, any synthetic wrapper or additional fees. And while we started, of course, with Bitcoin and Ethereum as well, over time, we now offer more than 50 different assets on multiple chains. So again, what's the learning? The learning is that clearly we see access to the asset class growing, and we believe that there will be further access to the underlying as well. We will see more ETFs coming. Let's say the launch of more basket products where you have institutional access to more rules-based passive strategies which enable access to different sectors. We'll see more of this as well. And then synthetic access, which also enables leverage positions, products with yield, and this is an example of this, of course, is the staking ETFs, which are promised, not here yet, but potentially soon. So, step 3 is what we're seeing in the headlines, literally in real time, is everyone launching their stablecoin or a stablecoin settlement network. I was at Money 2020 last week, which is a very, very fintech conference. It's not a crypto event at all. And I swear at least 30 to 40% of the booths I saw there were stablecoin. We're talking about stablecoins. So it's really coming very far into the mainstream. And Sygnum also thought about this. We were like, oh yeah, stablecoin makes sense. So we did this in 2019. Let's launch our own digital CHF. But of course, when you're coming to the market and you have your own coin and you're the first one there, it's a little bit lonely. And so it was a fun experiment. We still, have it. But now we've understood that we have to actually work with larger ecosystems in order to have the impact and the efficiency that these stable coins provide. And so we also have the Swiss Deposit Token Initiative and Project Agora. But when you're playing with a bigger ecosystem, I think it's a bit more of a journey to see exactly how to what extent we'll see the impact. And so what now? I realize that a lot of what I've said now makes us look really good. But that wasn't the only agenda today. It was also to think about where we're headed. Because at Sygnum, we've had a hypothesis. And so far, we've really seen that play out, right? Every step that we've taken, or we took back in 2019, we've seen the banks kind of following along. And so that only goes to say, okay, what's next? And so yesterday or 2 days ago, we saw Bitcoin-backed loans being something that's coming up. And again, at Sygnum, we got our banking license in 2000. Oops, this is not the right slide. I'm missing a slide, but what I wanted to talk about was back in 2019, we, of course, got a banking license, which meant we could already give out loans against Bitcoin. And more recently, literally in 2025, we've seen that our clients are very eager to take advantage of staked asset loans. So what happens is that it becomes a free line of credit because the staking yield actually pays off the cost of the credit, and that means that you effectively have free money that you can use for any retail purpose or any purpose outside of the crypto industry even. And what does that mean, really? Like, it's so interesting to observe because it's really the blurring of traditional and crypto assets. And the legitimization of these different types of crypto collateral just really enables access to greater lines of credit. And then the observation that I took away from this was we're seeing traditional wrappers on crypto assets, and then we're seeing crypto wrappers on traditional assets. And clearly, this is an intermediary step. Right now, this can coexist maybe in the short term, but in the long term, we really will see the more efficient one win out, play out. And so that's what we're trying to do at Sygnum with the safeguards for institutional crypto. Why do we need these? It reduces the conflict of interest, it improves risk management, it enables more regulatory oversight, and of course, investor protections, because you need all of these things for institutions to feel comfortable engaging with the space. And so the first one was, of course, bringing that kind of capital efficiency on-chain, but I mean, on-chain we anyway have it. We see a lot of capital efficiency, but having that off-chain as well, so enabling brokers and institutional investors and liquidity providers to all settle in real time. This was with Sygnum Connect. And then, of course, off-exchange custody, which is really one of the need of the hour, which enables you to hold treasuries, so the actual underlying asset, but to have that as a line of credit that you can use on big exchanges. So we work currently with Binance, with Deribit, many more in the pipeline, where you have this line of credit that you can use to engage in your trading, but all of your collateral is actually held completely safe in a fully regulated Swiss bank. And so this is, again, one of those like small little offerings that enables institutions to feel safer entering the big crypto arena. So that is the future. The future is here, and we're building it, but we're also always open to everyone's inputs, to ideas. I work in business development, but also in product innovation at the bank, always looking for new ways in which we can grow the industry. So feel free to reach out afterwards, but it's my pleasure to have presented this to you today, and thank you very much.